Chafing Armor, Episode 18. Going to the castle and you're gonna get murdered. Welcome back to Chafing Armor. This is Episode 18, and I am your barely legal Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. And chiming in with me is James. James, in this very special episode, tell everyone who you are and who you are playing.
Hi there, I am James, and I am currently playing a side quest character. As featured in episode 12, his name is Cackle. He is a half-orc thief ranger.
Excellent. And also with us on this special side quest episode is Lee. Lee, please introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are playing.
G'day, I'm Lee, and in this side quest episode, I will be playing Taka, the human monk of less than stable footing.
Excellent. When we last left these two characters, they had met in a secret underground lair known as a bunting, where the monsters of the world meet. After a slight altercation, they both agreed to come in and try to retrieve the second half of the Rod of Seraphim, the Rod of Legend that will supposedly save the world that was broken during the Great Battle. The other half has been missing, but Cackle, the thief, has gotten intel that it is in this castle, that it is in the possession of King Midge, a goblin, and that there is a secret entrance around the back that will allow them to sneak in without having to fight their way through an army of goblins. And we open with them coming over the hill to see Castle Pradlethorn, which is crumbling and much older than it should be, and surrounded by a perpetual lightning storm. What would y'all like to do?
All right. First, as we approach, I want to take a look at the ground and see what kind of creatures have been going in and out here, if at all, using my tracking skills.
Please roll for that.
Will do. Let's see, 11 plus that's a 22.
Well, Cackle is a thief, but he is also a ranger. I believe you're level 5 in both, is that correct?
That is correct.
And in this squashy ground, while you don't think that any tracks would stay long term, it actually is incredibly easy to tell that there have been many, many goblins coming in and out of this area. You also see a few other tracks. One of them you cannot identify. The other one is clearly a troll. And you don't see very many of those tracks, but you do see at least one pair of troll tracks going towards the castle.
Interesting. I'm glad you brought those torches with you.
Yes, as anyone of either of your skill and wandering would know, that that is one of the few ways to ultimately end a troll.
All right, and there and heading toward the castle entrance, not necessarily the way we're going to be going, correct?
Yes, I would not recommend. You can clearly see from where you are that the entrance to the castle is guarded by what you believe to be goblins. Y'all are quite a far off because right now it would be almost impossible in this storm for them to see you. But you can see that the castle entrance is guarded and almost certainly by goblins.
Righto. All right. Well, I'm happy to take the end around. As we get closer, I'd like to kind of shift into sneak mode just to make sure that we're not detected by any scouts or lookouts or what have you. I don't know if the monk has any skills in that regard at all.
Yes, but Tucker isn't going to use them.
Interesting. Well, as far as typical detection, it would be very hard for someone who wasn't looking for you to hear you because there is a raging storm going on right now, and y'all are walking through it. But Taka, you really you are impressed. You can see as he goes into stealth mode that his soft leather boots are making almost no sound, even where they should be going squish, squish, squish as they walk through the sodden ground. He is moving very stealthily ahead of you around to the back of the castle. As you make your way around to the back, you can see that the moat is very swollen, unsurprisingly. It must have some kind of drain off, or it surely would have flown over, overflown by now. But it is still very, very swollen, and you actually can make out a small grate that's circled in stone that's in the very back, which is almost exactly opposite of the front entrance.
Okay. If we're right on top of it, I'd like to use some trap sense, make sure that there's nothing that's going to explode in our faces if we try and open this.
Well, and I should clarify, I think I did not say it well. It's on the other side of the moat.
Yes, okay.
It's going into the castle. But it does not appear to be guarded in any way. But it would require y'all to cross the moat in one way or another.
Gotcha. Well, I think Jumpy McJumperton over here may not have any problem with that, but I'm not exactly flight worthy, as it were.
Mm-hmm. The moat is approximately 30 feet across. It would be possible, though it would be a bit of a feat, for Taka to jump this with a running start. But it would not be a guarantee.
No. It's wet. Storming, so
Yes.
silk rope is not what we want to be using. Hemp rope is what we're probably going to want to use. Taka, I want to examine in fairly good detail, because I know what I'm doing at least. The lead up, how long the lead up is to where the optimum jump off point is, and essentially try and gauge just what I'm going to need to do to make that grate and slip inside.
Okay. There is, ground, like literal, earth ground. It doesn't the grate doesn't immediately start like where the moat ends. There is a little bit of grass and dirt that lead up to the grate. So if you jumped over it, you wouldn't just land on the grate, you would land on the ground. But you can kind of, looking very carefully, you can kind of see, this, little area here looks like it's got a little bit firmer. Like, I could probably get a little bit more trajectory if I went over this area. But it is going to be a little bit of a gamble because if it was perfect settings, if this was just simply you jumping 30 feet, you're pretty sure you could do it because you're a very highly trained monk. With incredible skills, but the terrain is against you, and it is not a certainty that you would make it in a single jump.
It is not. But Taka is going to attempt anyway, because Taka feels they can do it, but they are going to hand Cackle all of their equipment, except for the hemp rope, which they will wind around their body and waist. To cut down on any weight issues that may occur.
Okay.
The rope is 50 foot long, so there's plenty of room to toss out and if necessary, hold on to, tie around, etc. So, let's make this jump. Before taking the run up, Taka will give a sly wink to Cackle. And show their teeth.
Cackles.
And take the run up. I'm going to be using my agile feat,
Okay.
and hopefully in conjunction with my acrobatic feat. And
How many feet do you have, sir?
26 is probably what I'm going to need. So
That's a lot of feet.
I will roll my d20. Ooh. Okay, that's 17 plus my jump, which is 12. So
Yes.
Well,
27, 28, 29. And for the landing, I will require balance. I think acrobatic should have given me a +2 to jump, I think. So that's 31 for the jump. And agile will hopefully help me out with the balance. Balance is a perfect 20, so that's 36, 37, 38 for the balance.
sheesh.
Okay. Well, this is the kind of thing that Taka can do very well. Like I said, if it was perfect conditions, it wouldn't have even been a question. You could absolutely do it. And you just fly across the water. And you are very lucky, sir. As you fly across the water, a rotting hand just shoots out, and it grasps the edge of your monk's robe and just tears off a little tiny bit. And you feel this imperceptible kind of ugh, like that, and you know that if it had been a little bit stronger grasp, it could have pulled you down into the moat. And you land, and you are safe. Your feet just kind of go into the mud for a second. There's no amount of balance that can prevent that, because not only is there perpetual storm, but it's right next to the moat. So your shoes / sandals are muddy as all get out. But whatever was in the water sinks back down, and you do not see it again. As you can imagine, with the storm and everything, the water is just a muddy, murky mess, and you cannot see anything else.
Yeah, I'm going to assume Tiger didn't really see it anyway, given the concentration of leaping over the moat.
Sure.
Just felt it.
Well, I
Sure.
certainly
But I'm
saw
going
it.
to hope Cackle
You
saw
most
that at
certainly
least.
saw it, yes.
So I'm going to... Taka is going to catch their breath. Whew! That was... that shouldn't have happened. I felt something. Did you throw something? What?
Oh no,
Something
no.
happened.
The moat's just filled with slimy monsters. I'm assuming some sort of undead or something.
Well, there goes my original plan. Well, I'm over here, you're over there, and I don't think you're going to be wading through this moat anytime soon.
I'm not big on swimming in general, let alone with zombies. So
Yeah. I will. Right now, I'm going to see if I can test out the grate's integrity, as it were. See if it will support a rope and a 300-pound half-orc.
Okay. You think that it will. However, it is badly rusted. And you literally cannot say for certain that it's going to support his weight, but you think that it will, especially if you were to lend your aid to it. But you do not know if a strong, yank from this rope in the right way might just pull the grate loose. If it were in better shape, there would be no doubt that it would hold it. But this entire castle, as I've said before, seems to be moldering, and you just can't say for certain.
Alright, so let's just go for this. I want to tie the rope around one of the bars of the grate, then wind it around 2 more bars,
Okay.
and then throw the other end with my gauntlet tied to it to weigh it down, because otherwise this is a storm, it may get caught and the wind may blow it around. So I'm going to tie my gauntlet to the other end of the rope, and I'm going to toss the gauntlet to Cackle.
Hold on,
Okay.
hold
Well,
on.
at the same time,
Before you throw that thing, I just wanted to check: is the drawbridge? I'm assuming there's a drawbridge since there's a moat. On the other side, is it down?
Yes, it is down.
All right. Wait right there a minute. How far? About how far around is it? I don't know how the length of the castle. Is it pretty far over?
I mean, it's a decent walk. It's on the other side. It's exactly opposite of where you are. So I would say it's probably like a quarter of a mile. But it's not like a minced distance. But it's at least a quarter of a mile.
Right. Because what I'm thinking is maybe I'll just try and sneak across the drawbridge instead of trying to jump over this morass.
Isn't that where the guards are, though?
Guards, they're not going to see me.
Now it is absolutely guarded. Now if you tried to just sneak across the top, there is no way, or not. There's a very very little chance that you could just simply sneak across the drawbridge and not be seen. Now you could try to crawl underneath, and kind of slip across underneath the drawbridge, or like maybe shimmy along the side, that kind of thing. But if you just walk across the drawbridge, there is no cover. So you would basically have to roll a natural 20 to pull that off.
Okay. I'm just saying, because I do have an 18 hide.
Oh, no, yeah, no, you're very, very skilled, but unless there was some reason that every single guard was looking in another direction.
Gotcha.
There's almost, I just, it's one of those things where it's, they would just see you.
Right.
Or you have hide in plain sight, which I think is like a 15th level rogue skill.
Yeah, that's
Something like
a bit beyond
Right.
me. But I feel like I probably have a better chance of trying to shimmy along the underside of the drawbridge than trying, because unless there's something else, something to tie the other end of this rope to on my side of the moat.
I think I would hope there would be trees.
There are trees. It would be difficult. Like you probably would have to tie off the silk rope as well to make it go all the way. But you could do it.
Well, we only need the hempen rope to cross the actual... I'm just thinking out loud here, out of character. To actually cross the moat, the silk rope would hold the end of the hemp rope to a tree. But if Cackle's not confident he can do it, then he won't do it.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's one of the. As someone who has spent a lot of time with rope, it's one of those things where you can take the rope to the tree, but then you're certain there will not be enough rope to tie it around the tree, and so you would have to also tie off, do a good job tying off the silk rope to the hemp rope, and then you would have enough to tie it off tightly to the nearby tree.
Well, Cackle has all my equipment, which includes the silk
And
rope, so...
I believe you did specify that, and so he does indeed have it. Now you will need to make a successful throw to get the gauntleted rope over to him.
Okay. If Cackle is actually going to catch...
Just send it on
gauntlet.
over there, buddy. Just send it on over.
Right. That's a 17 plus use rope, or what would you like me to add to that, or nothing?
No, I would add your dexterity bonus.
Okay, that's good because dexterity is my best one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I said 17, didn't I?
Right.
Yes.
Because I picked my dice up. So that's 21.
Well, you've had a lot of fists thrown at you, Cackle, over the years. But this is a new one where a gauntleted fist comes sailing over the moat 30 feet right towards you for you to catch. And I would like you to roll a to catch. And you can use your dexterity bonus, or if you believe another skill will help, I will allow it if you can convince me.
Reflex save?
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, my ruse up is the same as my dex, so 15, 19 to catch that.
That will do it, and you snatch it right out of the air. Now, what I do need you to do is do you have a rope skill? Use rope?
Well, I've got, let's see, I've just got my ability modifier really as a bonus.
Okay. Because I do need you to roll for that in order to properly tie these two ropes together. Specifically, the fact that it's pouring rain and wet rope is a pain in the butt to deal with. And you do have to tie it off properly, or it could come undone while your very heavy frame is shimmying across.
Let's see how I do with a square knot. Well, I got a 17. Plus, if you want to throw in my dex bonus.
I'll allow that.
So that'd be 21.
Okay. Well, you think that you have tied a very good knot, and you made sure you've not spent long on ships, but you do enough you knew to go around the tree and get it very tight and then cinch it off and all of that good stuff that you remember from that 2 months before you had to leave very quickly because of a incident with the captain's daughter. Anyway, so please describe to me how you are going to make your way across this rope.
Well, I figure the easiest way to do it would be, feet up, the upside down kind of crawl thing.
Okay.
If I can suggest, Taka can suggest overlet to send gear across first. That way you're not carrying it all.
That makes sense.
Hopefully you've tied your end of the knot much higher than my end of the knot, so you can just slide them across and I will catch them on the other side.
Let's pretend that happened.
Well, I will definitely allow that because just from common sense, this grate is coming out of the ground, or is just above the ground. And whereas obviously, if you tied off in a tree, you wouldn't have tied it off to the base of the tree. So I will allow that. Though I do need to roll a percentage dice here. And that is a 3, so that is quite low. So I will allow that the equipment does just slide right down on the wet rope, and you are with your quarterstaff able to kind of nab it before it gets you have to get too close to the moat. And now it's time for you, Taka. I'm sorry, Cackle, to make your way across. Would you make a roll for me there?
Okay. Let's see, to what might I apply this? Climbing, I don't know, is this climbing count?
I would allow climb or balance, whichever one you would like to use.
I definitely would rather use climb. Let's do that. That I can deal with.
This definitely is a climb, so I'm going to allow it.
1627.
Okay.
Nice.
So you were doing a very good job shimmying across this, and you think about some various nights where you had crossed from one rooftop to the other in a similar fashion, with various jewels literally clenched in your teeth because you didn't have anywhere else to hold them as you make your way across. And man, you guys are I'm telling you, I'm going to burn these dice. I'm just going to burn them. Apparently the same creature with a skeletal hand. This time, Taka, you see it quite well. Comes out from the water and tries to grab you, but you are ready for it, and your butt kind of does like a clinch and goes upwards, and it just misses. And well, here I am pooping on my dice. As you are you do make it across. You make it across, and you're just about to disengage. Whatever is in the water just raises up out of the water, and you can see now that it is, in fact, an undead creature of some kind. It has ropey skin hanging from it, and it sucks in a breath, which it should not be able to do, and vomits on you.
Uh,
And unfortunately, it rolled a natural 20.
oh,
So sorry about that. It does 5 points of acid damage to you.
yikes.
You are fortunate that you had already made your way across so that you're able to drop safely from the rope. And I'm going to actually say, because it did roll a natural 20, that the rope itself is eaten through and snaps. And your same exit has been stolen from you. What you do notice, though, is the creature simply lowers itself back into the water. As far as you can tell, it does not appear to be pursuing you. So you have lost your rope and your exit the way you came in. However, it does not appear to be coming after you.
Alrighty then. This is quickly turning
Glad
into
you
a
sent the
one-way trip.
equipment across first, right?
Yeah.
Taka is going to go. Wait, that was the thing that. Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's even more unpleasant than you thought it was.
Alrighty. Shall we?
Yeah.
Press on.
Let's do this.
Can't go back now.
Make our way to the grate. Is what is it? The grate that's where we're going to be entering?
Yes, or
Okay.
that's what you're supposed to be entering.
Well, at least that's what they told me, right?
Yes. This grate is locked.
Oh, let's see what I can do about that. Let's see what I can do about that. 13 plus 14 would be 27
My.
on my open locks. I never
Well,
met a lock I didn't like.
Well, this lock is not in great shape, which almost is to your detriment because it's starting to rush shut. However, it is also not terribly complicated. So even though it is beginning to malfunction, you were able to get in there and kind of like apply a little force, and it pops open, and the grate very reluctantly swings outwards. And what you see inside is a somewhat narrow tunnel leading inside. This is clearly an overflow for the castle itself to flow out into the moat.
All right. All right. I'll hop in and start making the way.
Okay. And so you're heading in first, and Taka, I assume you're coming after?
Yeah, sure. Taka will head in. Before we head through, though, I'd like to do a quick survey of the exterior just before I head into the grate.
Okay.
Just to see if anyone sees us go through.
Okay. Roll a perception check for me.
That's a 21.
Gotcha. As far as you can tell, and again, it's a terrible storm, which means it's very unlikely someone can see you, but it also means that it's hard for you to see anyone else. As far as you can tell, there is no one to witness you coming in. So you both kind of shimmy your way in. This tunnel is... You can't quite stand up all the way, especially you, Taka, because you're a big boy. Not you. I'm sorry. Especially you, Cackle, because you're a big boy. But you could probably stand up about 3/4 of the way, kind of hunching over, and so you're kind of making this slopey way forward. And I would like you to roll a perception check for me.
All right. Oh, let's see. I'm not going to see anything. I got a, let's see, 2, 5.
Okay. Yep, you don't really notice anything too much until you put your hand on something, a patch of yellow, and your hand burns.
Oh,
And you take 4 points of damage.
jeez.
Where does that put your hit points right now, by the way?
I'm at 73.
Okay, I know you're quite a tough guy, being
Yes.
level 10 total, 5 and 5. But that still hurt. And of course,
Yes.
what you realize now is that going forward, the rest of this tunnel has patches of this yellow slime. And as you found out the hard way, where your hand or your body touches it, it burns you. So y'all have a choice. You can try to do something to remove the slime, or it is possible for you to simply do a sort of Mission Impossible and just sort of scooch your way around in sort of a medieval version of getting through a laser fence. And so I'll leave that up to y'all what you would like to try to do.
Taka is going to. Well, actually, does Cackle tell Taka what happened to him when he touched the yellow stuff? Because they didn't touch it, so. I'm specifically asking because I'm assuming Taka didn't touch any of the yellow stuff, so doesn't know what it does.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing Cackle touched it and went, ow?
Yes.
I don't know.
I would imagine so, because it 4 points of damage, even for a beefy boy, is nothing. Not nothing.
Alright, so I'll ask him if he's okay and what happened.
This yellow slime stuff is painful. I don't know, was it more of like an acid burn or a heat burn?
Yes.
Or
It's more like an acid burn,
okay. Well,
which
apparently,
you also had experience with recently.
yeah. Apparently, everything in this place is made of bile or something. I don't know. I don't like it.
Alright. Taka is going to take out one of the oil skins.
Okay.
Moving that to 3. And pour out the oil onto both of the torches.
Okay.
Just to, not waste any. And using what's left of the oil skin, is going to try and put as much of the yellow stuff into the oil skin and hope it doesn't eat through, because it could come in handy later.
Okay.
Interesting.
I will roll. That is a 17 on the die.
Okay. You are successfully able to scoop one oil skin full of it. And I basically took a 50-50 chance, highs being good, and I rolled a 59, which is high, which means that even though it does sort of hiss and sputter a little bit, the way that the skin was treated, and who knows, maybe because of what the skin was made of, it is able to resist the acid, and it is able to maintain inside the skin.
Alright, I am not going to put it with the rest of the objects, because this stuff is acidic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hang it off my sash, my waist sash.
Okay.
And so I know that it's there, and so that if anything untoward happens, it's not going to damage any of our equipment.
Now, that will allow you to get past that particular slime, but there are dozens of these slimes ahead.
No, that's fine. I just wanted one of them.
Okay.
And I guess we'll try to... I mean, Taka is going to try a Mission Impossible.
Keep it as a pet if you like.
And
could come in handy.
Cackle, are you going to also try to Mission Impossible your way through this?
I reckon I will.
All right, then I need some rolling from both of y'all.
All right.
What do you think this would fall
I'd like
under?
to apply my escape artist check to this.
Escape artist I would allow. I would also allow balance. I would also allow agility if you have that as a feat.
I am going to keep the escape artist because that's an 18 on the die
Eek.
plus a 13 for escape artist.
Eek.
So that's 31.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
And Cackle?
Let's see. With my Dex bonus, it'll give me a 16.
16. Okay. So what I'm going to say is that Taka, you are able to just flow through this like you are made of smoke. And there's even one moment where you come to the end where some of it actually comes loose from the ceiling and falls. And you sense it, and with your staff, you literally just kind of flick it out of the way, and you feel the slight hiss as it burns your staff a little bit, but you're able to kind of shake it a little bit before it can do any serious damage. With a 16, you are successful. However, you lucked out on that one. You do take one more point of damage that you make a slight misstep coming through. Cackle. But you are able to get through the rest of the way, and now you have made your way. Leading upwards, there is a rickety wooden ladder going up, and you both can see a somewhat similar grate above you, except this one, of course, is in the ceiling as opposed to in the wall.
Okay.
All right. I will comment on some of the new scars that Cackle has acquired in his foray through this great tunnel with a wry smile, and head on up the ladder.
Okay.
And test the grate in the ceiling, see if it has any give or resistance to being pushed up and out, and test the weight and see if I can push it out without making too much noise.
Okay. You spring a trap.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I will, however, allow you to make a... Oh, go ahead.
I will use evasion.
Okay.
Which means I think...
Evasion's a successful reflex against magical attacks. You take no damage.
Okay. I don't know if
now, this is not a magical attack. It is a physical attack.
Well, I will just use the
but I will
save.
allow you to roll to reduce your damage.
Alright. So, thankfully my reflex is my best attribute. That is a natural 20, so 31.
31. Okay, so that is... Oh, that is unfortunate. That is 16 points of damage. However, you take half of that. So you take 8 instead of 16. So the reason that you were very fortunate that happened is the way that this trap was set, it's designed so that the grate is actually easy to kind of put your hands into the grate and push upwards. What it's designed to do is basically to slice your fingers off. That as you put your fingers up into the grate, the pressure sensor just goes fling, and a blade goes straight across the grate underneath. So what happens is you essentially flinch backwards, and the top part of your arm loses a layer of skin, and you bleed quite profusely from that area, but it actually does you relatively little damage. But you realize that in a very bad situation, you could have lost all the fingers on one of your hands.
Yes.
But the trap is now sprung.
Yay.
As a result, Taka is going to curse in a hoarse whisper, and also lament their brashness. That this should have been this should have been foresawn, but we'll take it on board for the next time. Because that was a very silly move to make.
I agree. Maybe you should put me in front next time when we have openings and such.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna take you up on that, big boy.
And you remember Taka, your master, telling you that you run in without consideration. You would leap into the mouth of a dragon if you thought it meant you could get the first punch.
Tis true. Tis true.
But the grate does open now. It's not locked.
Great.
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 And
can
who?
it be removed without making too much noise?
You can try. Go ahead and roll for that.
I'm not going to try. I'm going to slide back down the ladder and let Cackle try
That
because
is a fine
my
idea.
fingers are a little bit in pain at the moment.
All right, so I will clamber up and see what I can do about moving this quietly. Let's see.
I would allow you to use your sneaky skill.
My what?
Move silently. Move silently. That kind of thing.
Moves. Yes. Oh, yes. I'd be happy to use my move silently. Let's see. A 1937.
Taka, from below, you realize you are very glad that he is kind of testing it, and you actually start to hear the beginning of a squeak, and he kind of leans forward and he just literally goes, "Tuh!" and he spits on one of the gears, and then it just kind of slides the rest of the way, and there's just this almost imperceptible as it moves the rest of the way. And Cackle, as you move yourself up as quietly as you can see a troll, and you're very glad that you decided to do this quietly. This troll is wearing battle armor. He has a very big sword at his side. It looks like it's maybe blunt, like maybe he uses it just for bashing purposes. And he is making art. Yeah, he's making art. He is actually doing what in another time and place someone might call a flower arrangement, except he is using exclusively bones. He's using exclusively bones. And he is arranging bones artistically, and he is using some kind of pitch. You suspect what it would probably be used for torches to hold them together, and he is making this sort of like archway thing, and he is completely engrossed in it. However, you think that if you'd made a lot of noise, he would have heard you.
I'm sure.
But he does not seem to notice you at all because he is very engrossed in this bone arch.
I look down through the grate and put my finger to my lips to indicate the obvious, and then tell him to signal to have him come up.
Okay.
Taka knows what the silence thing means.
Sure.
It's pretty universal signal. And since we are inside the castle, and after that nasty run-in with a trap, Taka now has their game face on, so is going to silently climb the ladder and make their way out to survey the scene for themselves.
Okay. Just so y'all know, like if he turns around, he'll see you. Obviously, like y'all are trying not to be, but unless you go and hide somewhere, he will see you coming out of this grate. But he is very engrossed in what he's doing at the moment. And he's also making not an insignificant amount of noise as these bones are clicking and clacking together, and he's sort of grumbling and mumbling to himself, and in a sort of broken common, you can hear him saying things like, it's a very beautiful arrangement, going to be going to be the toast of the town, and blah, 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 blah. And it just really seems engrossed in what he's doing. There is an open door that y'all can go through that he's not facing. And it's as far as anything else, y'all can try to look for or perceive or do whatever you want.
Yeah, well, is that in the general direction of where we need to be going according to my information?
You think so? You think
Okay.
that this will take you closer to the throne room, which you believe is where the rod is located.
Okay. Well, I will, as quietly as possible, move to the open doorway then.
I do need you to make a sneaky sneaks roll.
Let's see. What did I rolled a 2, so that's 20.
Okay. And Taka?
Taka is going to admire the work the troll is doing in such a way as not to attract attention, but also looking for anything they can use for later purposes. Just any information they can glean from the sculpture this troll is wearing, or this troll is making, including and any information about the troll themselves, such from the armor and stuff.
Okay.
Just a quick observation and things.
I would like you to make two rolls. One is a knowledge roll of the troll, and the other is information about the room, which is just a perception roll.
Okay, I will roll the perception roll. The perception roll is a 20 total.
Okay.
And knowledge dungeoneering, you said, or?
I'll allow you to use dungeoneering.
All right. I will do that. That is a 20 total for the dungeoneering roll.
Okay. So you've seen this kind of arch before, not made out of bones. You think that it's a wedding arch. Yeah, you think it's a wedding arch, and the troll, because of his, of course, prodigious size, is easily able to make one that a smaller, humanoid or perhaps smaller creature could easily walk through. Now that's just a guess, but you think you're right. You have a feeling you're probably right. Also, as far as the troll, this is, you think, you've never encountered one yourself, but you think it's a battle troll, which are a little bit smarter than your under the bridge type. And they, as you see here, that they're wearing armor. They are very skilled in battle and are somewhat rare because most trolls be dumb. And these kind are not geniuses, but compared to the average troll, they're somewhat intelligent, and they will actually use battle tactics, and they will especially use their natural regeneration to their advantage in battle, purposely wading into battles that would kill someone else. Knowing that they will recover from it as long as they're not, say, on fire. Also, you notice that on the dresser, there is literally a dresser in this room, like the kind you would see in a woman's bedroom. Is a little rack, and there are 2 potions just sitting in the rack.
In regards to what the troll was saying, now that I'm a little bit more concentration, can I get a clearer response of what he's saying in broken common?
You think that he is saying that everyone will appreciate his incredible skill in making this, and that it's going to be amazing.
Do I catch any names? Are you saying anything that sounds like names or...
No. However, you do hear him say, the bride. And something to the effect of, won't the bride look lovely coming through this?
Okay. And the potions, now that I've got that information, the potions are how far away?
They're about half the distance to the troll. You could easily go and get them, but you would need to make another roll to successfully do so.
Alright. Yeah, I think I'll try that. I will turn to Cackle, who I'm just going to assume is pretty much nearly on his way out.
Mm-hmm.
I will point at the potions and then point at the troll and then silently laugh, and I will go for the potions.
Okay.
I don't know what they are, but at this point, some things you just have to rely on intuition for.
Okay. Feels like the right thing to do.
Silently?
Yes, please.
It does. Move silently is a 28.
All right.
26.
Okay.
For move silently.
You did need to roll well, which you did, and you silently walk forward and you simply slip the two bottles, which are they're flasks. They're very small.
Yep.
And they both have a deep blue liquid inside, which you do not know what it is, but they are identical. And you are easily able to slip them out and leave the room if you wish.
I will make my way towards the room, the exit of the room. Before I leave, though, I will take out one of the other oil pouches that I have, leaving me with two now, and I will empty as quietly as possible the oil out between myself or the door. So I will be in the doorway, and then between myself and the troll, I'm going to create a wall, or a sort of a half circle, if you will, of oil that essentially goes from one wall next to the door to the other wall next to the door. And I will try and make it as large and wide as possible with this oil.
Okay. I will allow you to do that. The troll takes no notice.
Alright. And then I'm going to set it on fire.
It will notice that.
It will. I'm going to indicate to Cackle to leave the area.
Well, I'm already in the doorway.
And I'm going to... Yes, but away from the doorway. Because I am going to set this on fire, and then I'm going to close the door.
Okay. I would like you to roll to strike the flame. But other than that, you will succeed.
That is a 19 on the die.
Okay. Cackle is scooching forward, and he's kind of watching in perhaps growing horror as you're spreading out this oil.
Yes.
And you pull out your flint and steel, and on the first try, it hits the oil patch, and whoom, whatever this fat was rendered from is highly flammable. And it catches fire immediately, and you slam the door, and as you see the troll turn, you see the look of pure terror on its face. There are only two things that a troll fears. One is acid, and the other is fire. And it realizes the room that it's in is now catching ablaze, and even the edge of the vanity is starting to catch a blaze, and you hear it scream as the door slams shut.
Can I bar the door? Is there a way to bar it? Does it have a drop bar on the outside?
I'm going to say that it does.
All right, can we drop it or attempt to drop
No,
it?
you can drop it. There's nothing stopping you from doing so.
All right, I'm going to drop the bar on the outside.
All right.
If the troll decides it wants to break the door down, it's probably not going to have that tough a time doing so, but it does have to get past the fire.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to again silently chuckle and follow Cackle.
Okay. Well, the troll rolled a 7, which it did not conquer its own fear to go through the fire. Which, as you said, the only way to break down that door is to go through the fire, and it could not do so. Now, it's not saying that it won't be able to get through eventually. It really depends on what this fire does. If it catches and starts a fire in there that is self-perpetuating, this troll's in a lot of trouble. If it doesn't, the troll will eventually be able to get out.
Yes, and that's why I would like us to quickly move on as quickly as possible, while at the same time hoping the dice fall in my favor and the room catches fire.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, buddy, I didn't think I'd ever meet anybody crazier than me.
You say crazy? You say crazy? I say forward thinking.
Well, time will tell.
Y'all, I assume y'all are making your way forward.
Yes, quickly.
Away from this burning door with a very upset troll.
Relative quick speed, yes.
Mm-hmm. You find yourself coming towards an open area that you think is going to lead into the throne room. Now, you can try to find a place to hide. There's a head you think is opening into the throne room.
Okay.
And you think that if you just walk in, that you're going to be seen. Because both of y'all have been in some version of a throne room. And they're big open places. There's likely going to be places to hide if you try. But it's really on what you would like to do.
I will definitely be in hide mode. Moving quietly and hiding in shadows.
Okay. Well, I will say use two options. One is you could try to climb up to the rafters. There are places that would allow you to do that. The other is you could simply try to hide behind one of the many tapestries that are in the room.
I think up is a good vantage point, so let's try with that.
Okay. I would like you to roll climb,
Okay.
and I would also like you to roll to move quietly.
To hide?
I'm gonna assume you said move silent and or hide.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. To move silently, and I would also like you to roll to climb if you're going to head up the rafters. Yeah.
All right. Climb is a 24 total.
All right.
And
this is not a terribly arduous climb.
Right. Move silent. Let's see. That's 32.
Okay. Well, Taka, you see him seem to just slide up the side of the wall. You chose this partially because there were some outjutting stones that gave you a good climb vantage, and you are now kind of tucked where the beams that cross the great ceiling meet the stone, and there's kind of a little axis where you can kind of easily crouch and see what's going on. Taka, what would you like to do?
How wide is this hallway?
It is very wide. You would say it's at least, I would say at least 80 feet across. This is a grand hallway. You think that this is both the throne room and a great hall, like where the banquets are held.
Okay. So, I really want to try this, but I don't want to risk it. But I also do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know what? Let's do it. I have 2 more things of oil left. I'm going to, in the direction that we came from, I'm going to lay out a relatively large patch of oil with both of them. It's not even anywhere near enough to cover the entire width, but just beyond that, about 50 feet beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lay out my caltrops. And then I'm going to sit behind a corner with a lit torch, a torch ready to light. And I'm going to, in Goblin, because that is one of my languages that I have, I'm going to scream, "Fire!"
Okay.
in a very panicked voice. Fire! 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 In Goblin.
Something like that.
And hopefully there'll be at least a fair amount of goblins flowing out of the throne room towards where I'm guessing smoke would probably start to be billowing. And hopefully they'll follow down that way.
Okay. So this is what happens is you call out, "Fire! Fire! Fire!" And the smoke begins to billow outwards. Chuck, Cackle, you kind of look down as you see this smoke rising upwards, and you think again, I really didn't think I'd ever meet someone who was crazier than me.
Crazier than me, yeah.
And you're very glad that you're tucked away in this corner. And right as you start yelling out, Taka, you hear a very, very poorly done, jangled, broken wedding march begin. Dun, 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 dun. And it's terrible. Like, clearly there's 3 or 4 musicians and none of them know how to play their instruments. And it's only because of context that you even know what they're playing. That it just goes dun dun, and there's confusion, there's yelling, and you see a bride come running towards you, and you see a long, thick beard hanging out from underneath the wedding veil. And that's where we end. Chafing Armor, episode 18. What is under that wedding veil? We will find out in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I hope you both have a wonderful day, and we will all talk to you soon.